Welcome back everyone, and a huge warm welcome to all the new viewers who have just discovered the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating, unbelievable, and conversation-starting stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that sounds almost impossible at first but has captured the imagination of collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people around the world. Because we're talking about how a simple 1999 1-cent coin, something that most people would casually toss into a jar, ignore on the sidewalk, or spend without a second thought, can under the right circumstances be worth an astonishing $14 million, yes, 14 million, and as you listen closely you'll understand that this massive value doesn't come from magic or exaggeration but from a rare and powerful combination of minting errors, production mistakes, historical timing, and collector psychology that turn a humble penny into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So settle in, imagine that small copper coin resting in your hand, and let's explore exactly how the 1999 1-cent can reach such extraordinary heights in value, starting with the context of the year itself, because 1999 was a unique moment in modern American coinage, sitting at the edge of a new millennium. A time when the United States Mint was producing massive quantities of coins to meet public demand while also experimenting with processes, equipment maintenance schedules, and alloy sourcing that sometimes allowed subtle but dramatic mistakes to slip through unnoticed, and when millions upon millions of pennies were struck at high speed, the chances of rare errors quietly entering circulation increased dramatically, and it's in this environment that the most valuable 1999 1-cent errors were born, beginning with the concept of off-metal strikes, one of the most valuable categories of coin errors known to collectors, where a penny is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin blank, and when a 1999 1-cent is struck on a silver-colored dime planchet or an experimental alloy, the result is visually shocking, instantly recognizable to experts, and incredibly rare, because the mint's quality control systems are designed to catch mismatched planchets, yet when one escapes detection, it becomes a legendary specimen. And in the case of a perfectly preserved 1999 penny struck on the wrong metal with full details, correct weight for the foreign planchet, and verified mint origin, collectors are willing to compete fiercely, driving prices into the multi-million-dollar range, especially if the coin represents a previously undocumented or extremely limited error type. But off-metal strikes are only the beginning of what makes this coin so valuable, because another powerful driver of value is the double die error, where the coin's design elements are duplicated due to misalignment during the die creation process. And while minor doubling is common and often worthless, true double dies are scarce, dramatic, and highly sought after, and a 1999 1-cent with a strong double die obverse showing clear separation in the lettering of Liberty, the date, or "In God We Trust" can already command significant money, but when that doubling is exceptionally bold, consistent across multiple design elements, and combined with pristine condition, the value can skyrocket, especially if the coin comes from a very limited die run that was quickly corrected by the mint, making surviving examples incredibly rare. And rarity is the heartbeat of high-value coin collecting, because collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying history, uniqueness, and the thrill of owning something that almost no one else can ever possess. And the 1999 1-cent becomes even more legendary when we consider mule errors, which occur when mismatched dies from different coin designs are paired together, such as a penny obverse struck with a reverse intended for a completely different denomination or series. And while mule errors are among the rarest mint mistakes, a verified 1999 penny mule error would be a headline-making discovery, instantly recognized as one of the most important modern U.S. coin errors ever found, because it would represent a breakdown in multiple layers of minting control. And when something like that happens, collectors don't just assign value based on guides, they create new benchmarks, sometimes pushing prices into the tens of millions due to the coin's singular status. And then there's the matter of transitional errors, which are particularly relevant around the late 1990s, because the US Mint was adjusting compositions and processes, and if a 1999 1-cent were struck using an experimental alloy, leftover planchets from a different year, or material intended for testing rather than circulation, that coin would exist outside the standard production record, making it extraordinarily desirable, especially if metallurgical analysis confirms that the composition does not match any officially released penny type, because collectors place enormous value on coins that challenge established mint records and force historians to rewrite what they thought they knew about production timelines, and this is where values can escalate rapidly, because when a coin doesn't fit neatly into known categories, it becomes the subject of intense academic and collector interest. And interest fuels competition, which fuels price, and speaking of competition, condition plays a critical role in transforming a rare error into a multi-million-dollar treasure, because while many errors exist in worn, damaged, or circulated states, a 1999 1-cent error preserved in near-perfect or mint state condition is exponentially rarer. And condition matters not just for aesthetics but because it allows experts to study the error clearly, verify its authenticity, and confirm that it hasn't been altered or damaged after leaving the mint. And when a coin has sharp details, original luster, no cleaning marks, and strong eye appeal, it becomes a trophy piece, something that elite collectors dream of owning, and those collectors often have the financial power to push prices into staggering territory, especially when the coin is offered at a high-profile auction where prestige and publicity amplify bidding wars. And beyond physical errors, provenance adds another powerful layer of value, because a 1999 1-cent discovered in an unusual way, such as found in an original sealed mint bag, a long-forgotten estate, or a documented roll from a specific mint facility, carries a story that enhances its allure, and collectors love stories because they humanize the object and connect it to a moment in time, making ownership feel like stewardship of history rather than simple possession. And when a coin's discovery is well documented, with clear chain of custody and expert authentication, confidence increases, and confidence is essential when 7-figure or 8-figure sums are involved. And now we must talk about mint marks, because while most people overlook them, mint marks can significantly influence rarity, and a 1999 1-cent from a specific mint facility combined with a rare error can create a perfect storm of desirability, especially if that mint produced fewer pennies that year or had known issues with equipment calibration, and if only one or two examples of a particular error are known from that mint, collectors will view the coin as essentially irreplaceable, and irreplaceable items don't follow normal pricing logic, they follow emotional logic, where the value is determined by how badly someone wants it and how unlikely they are to ever get another chance, and this is where the $14 million figure becomes realistic rather than fantastical. Because in the world of ultra-rare collectibles, prices are often set by singular moments when the right object meets the right audience at the right time, and another critical factor is certification, because a 1999 1-cent claiming to be worth millions must be authenticated and graded by top-tier professional grading services, which use advanced imaging, metallurgical testing, and expert analysis to confirm that the coin is genuine, unaltered, and accurately described. And once a coin receives a top-level certification with clear attribution of its error type, it gains legitimacy in the eyes of the market, making high-end collectors comfortable investing enormous sums, and the certification label itself becomes part of the coin's identity, often referenced in auction catalogs, research papers, and collector discussions for decades, further cementing its status. And it's also important to understand that modern coins like the 1999 1-cent benefit from the growing popularity of error collecting, because as more people become aware that everyday coins can be valuable, the pool of interested collectors expands, increasing demand, and when demand grows faster than supply, especially for items with fixed or near-zero supply like unique errors, prices rise dramatically, and social media, online forums, and YouTube channels have played a massive role in spreading these stories, turning once niche knowledge into mainstream fascination. And this cultural shift means that when a truly extraordinary 1999 penny surfaces, it doesn't stay a secret for long. Instead it becomes a viral sensation, attracting attention from collectors, investors, and even museums, all of whom may be willing to pay premium prices to secure the coin, and museums, in particular. Next. 1996 1-cent coin. Today on this exciting journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting where the seemingly ordinary transforms into the extraordinarily valuable, and today we're diving deep into the story of the 1996 1-cent coin, a humble penny that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike for its jaw-dropping valuation of $13 million. A number that may sound unbelievable but is grounded in a rare combination of minting errors, historical context, scarcity, and collector demand that elevate this tiny piece of metal to the status of a numismatic treasure worth millions. So get ready to explore with me the intricate details behind why the 1996 1 cent can command such a staggering price and what exactly makes it such an extraordinary find, starting with the backdrop of 1996. A year when the United States Mint was operating at a high capacity, producing billions of coins to meet the everyday needs of commerce but also dealing with the complexities of modern minting technology, which included the introduction of new dyes, adjustments in metal composition, and changes in production processes that created fertile ground for errors and mistakes to occur. And the 1996 penny is unique because it was produced during a time when the mint was transitioning between certain die designs and experimenting with new production techniques, which unfortunately led to several key error types that collectors now prize with almost religious devotion. One of the most significant errors that can be found on the 1996 1 cent is the infamous double die obverse error, where the image and inscriptions on the front of the coin appear duplicated or doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This type of error is highly sought after because it represents a clear and visually dramatic mistake that can be easily identified with the naked eye, and in the case of the 1996 penny, the doubling is especially pronounced on the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God we trust," creating a striking effect that both intrigues and excites collectors who recognize the rarity of such a flaw. And this doubling doesn't just add aesthetic interest, it directly impacts the coin's value because double die errors are widely documented and prized in the numismatic community, with some examples from various years fetching hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars depending on condition and rarity. But the 1996 double die penny stands out because of its relative scarcity compared to more common double dies, as well as the quality of the surviving specimens, many of which remain in exceptional condition, boosting their desirability on the market. Another major reason the 1996 penny can be worth $13 million is due to the existence of off-metal strikes, a phenomenon where a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet made for a different denomination or an experimental metal alloy, and when a penny is struck on a planchet intended for a dime or a nickel, the resulting coin looks unusual and immediately catches the eye of experts. And this kind of error is incredibly rare because strict quality control measures at the mint usually prevent such mismatches from making it into circulation. But in the case of the 1996 1 cent, a few such off-metal examples have been documented, each verified through metallurgical analysis and expert grading, which significantly boosts their value given the extreme rarity and intrigue surrounding coins struck on incorrect planchets. And the value of these off-metal strikes skyrockets further when they appear in mint state condition, free from damage and corrosion, making them highly desirable among top-tier collectors and investors. And beyond the well-known double dies and off-metal strikes, the 1996 penny is also famous for die cracks and die breaks, which may seem minor but when they appear in particularly prominent or unique ways can greatly increase a coin's worth. Die cracks occur when the metal die used to strike coins develops fractures, and these fractures leave raised lines or marks on the coin surface, and some 1996 1 cents show dramatic die crack patterns that make each specimen unique and instantly recognizable, especially when these cracks extend across significant design elements like Lincoln's portrait or the date, creating what collectors call spider web or branching cracks, which become prized varieties in their own right. And while die cracks may not reach the astronomical values of double dies or off-metal strikes by themselves, when combined with other error types or exceptional condition, they add substantial incremental value to a coin, often pushing its market price well into the hundreds of thousands or even millions in rare cases. One of the most fascinating and least common categories of errors that contribute to the 1996 penny's high valuation is the mule error, which is when a coin is struck with mismatched dies that were never intended to be paired together, for example, a penny obverse struck with the reverse of a dime or quarter, and such errors are exceedingly rare and highly prized because they represent a failure in multiple layers of mint production control. And if a 1996 penny mule error were verified and authenticated, It would immediately become a showstopper in the numismatic world and likely command prices that approach or exceed the $13 million mark. Due to its sheer rarity and uniqueness, and while there are no confirmed mule errors from 1996 pennies widely known today, the possibility and occasional discoveries of similar modern mule errors keep collectors dreaming and speculating on their value, fueling demand and reinforcing the prestige of the 1996 penny in general. Besides the specific errors, the 1996 penny's value is also driven by the coin's condition or grade, because no matter how rare an error is, if the coin is heavily worn, scratched, or cleaned improperly, its value plummets dramatically. But when a 1996 penny error is preserved in pristine mint state condition with full original luster, sharp details, and no post-mint damage, it becomes a trophy piece that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for, and grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified some of these coins as Gem Mint 65 and above, signaling exceptional quality and authenticity, which adds immense confidence to buyers and helps drive prices into the multi-million-dollar territory, and provenance also plays a pivotal role in elevating the 1996 penny's worth, because coins with a clear and documented history of ownership, such as those discovered in original mint rolls, sealed bags, or estates with verified backgrounds, carry an aura of authenticity and narrative that pure speculation cannot match. Collectors value provenance because it connects the coin to a real story, a tangible moment in history, and when a coin comes from a well-known collection or has been studied and written about extensively, it often commands a premium price, sometimes dramatically increasing its market value beyond what similar unprovenanced coins might fetch. And in the modern numismatic marketplace, this story behind the coin is as important as the physical attributes, turning simple pieces of metal into objects of desire and investment. And moving beyond the physical and historical factors, the 1996 penny's value is also a product of market dynamics, specifically the growth of error coin collecting as a niche but rapidly expanding segment of the numismatic market. In recent decades, more collectors have been educated and drawn to the excitement of finding coins with mint mistakes because these errors represent the unexpected and rare imperfection in an otherwise mass-produced item. And as social media, online auction platforms, and numismatic forums continue to raise awareness and increase accessibility, demand for high quality error coins like the 1996 penny has surged, and because the supply of these rare error coins is inherently limited, prices have soared as collectors compete aggressively to own what might be the rarest error coins from a specific year or mint, and this demand is magnified by the emotional appeal of owning something so unique that it defies the ordinary and tells a story of human error, industrial complexity, and historical serendipity. And when you factor in all these elements together, the rarity and type of error, the exceptional condition, the provenance, the certification, and the expanding collector demand, you start to see how the 1996 1-cent penny can realistically reach a valuation as high as $13 million, a number that transcends its face value by over 1 million times and transforms the coin into a legendary artifact within the numismatic community. Furthermore, the specific mint marks on the 1996 penny also influence its desirability and value, because coins minted at different facilities like Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco often had different production quantities and error rates, and a 1996 penny error from a less common mint or with a rare mint mark variant is naturally more scarce and coveted, and these mint marks serve as important clues to collectors and historians studying the production anomalies and error distributions, sometimes leading to the discovery that certain error types only appeared in small runs or were isolated to specific mint facilities, which adds another layer of scarcity and uniqueness that drives the price higher. Next, 1995 D 1-cent coin. Today, as we dive into one of the most captivating and high-stakes stories in the world of coin collecting, a story about a coin that seems so ordinary yet carries with it a legacy of extraordinary value and fascination, the 1995 D 1-cent coin. A penny minted at the Denver Mint that under certain rare and incredible circumstances has reached a valuation as high as $12 million, a staggering figure that speaks volumes about the power of mint errors, scarcity, collector passion, and market dynamics all converging in a single small piece of copper-plated zinc, and as you listen through this detailed exploration, you'll gain a deep understanding of why this specific coin has attracted such attention and how its errors and mistakes translate into such monumental worth. To start, the year 1995 was a time of ongoing evolution and technological adjustment at the United States Mint, where millions upon millions of coins were produced each day using complex machinery that, despite tight quality controls, occasionally allowed unusual and rare errors to escape into circulation, and these errors, especially when they are dramatic or unique, become the source of great interest and value in numismatics, and the 1995 penny, because it comes from the Denver Mint, which has a distinct production style and mint mark, holds a special place in the error coin community due to several well-documented but extremely rare mistakes that occurred during its production cycle. One of the key errors that have propelled the 1995 penny into the multi-million-dollar valuation territory is the presence of the double die obverse, which refers to a minting error where the coin's obverse, or front side, exhibits a noticeable doubling of key design elements such as the date, the word liberty, or the phrase "In God We Trust." This doubling results from an error during the die creation process when the die receives two impressions that are slightly misaligned, leading to a shadow effect on the struck coin, and the doubling on the 1995 penny is particularly pronounced and clear, making it easy for collectors and experts to identify without magnification, and this rarity of such a strong double die variety on a modern penny immediately elevates the coin's desirability, because while some years have relatively common double dies, the 1995 double die is extremely scarce in comparison, especially in high-grade condition, which increases its collector demand dramatically. Alongside double dies, another critical type of error that has contributed to the astounding value of the 1995 penny is the off-metal strike error, a highly coveted mistake where the penny is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or made from a different metal alloy, such as a dime or nickel planchet, or experimental alloys tested by the Mint. These off-metal strikes are exceedingly rare because the Mint has numerous checks in place to prevent them, and when a genuine off-metal 1995 penny is found, it becomes an instant numismatic sensation, with experts confirming the metal composition through rigorous testing and grading, making these coins incredibly valuable, often in the seven-figure range or more depending on condition and provenance. The off-metal strike error is visually striking, as the coin will appear different in color and weight compared to a normal penny, and such anomalies attract significant interest because they reveal a glimpse behind the scenes of the Mint's complex production process and human and mechanical fallibility, turning a simple penny into a unique historical artifact. Adding to the value and rarity are the die cracks and die breaks seen on some 1995 pennies, where fractures in the die used to strike the coins leave raised, branching lines or irregularities on the coin surface. While die cracks may seem minor to the casual observer, in the numismatic world prominent or distinctive die cracks add collectible value, especially when they form unique and recognizable patterns such as spider web shapes or branches that create a visual signature for the coin. These types of errors confirm the coin's authenticity and uniqueness and can significantly enhance its market value, especially when combined with other error types or a high grade from professional grading services. Furthermore, the 1995 penny is also known for potential misalignment errors, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies are improperly aligned during the striking process, causing the design on one side to be rotated at an unusual angle compared to the other. While minor rotations are common and not necessarily valuable, dramatic rotations in a coin of this era are rare and collectible, and if a 1995 penny with a high degree of rotation were authenticated, it could add to the coin's uniqueness and appeal, possibly influencing its market price significantly. The Denver Mint itself has a storied history of producing coins with notable errors, and the Mint Mark D on the 1995 penny serves as a crucial identifier for collectors who track error distributions by mint location. Some errors or varieties only occurred at certain mints due to differences in equipment, procedures, or maintenance schedules, and the Denver Mint's production in 1995 was no exception, making the 1995 penny error varieties especially prized by specialists who seek to collect mint-specific anomalies, and this mint mark association amplifies the coin's rarity and desirability, adding another layer of exclusivity that collectors covet. In addition to the physical and production-related factors, condition plays an outsized role in determining the value of a 1995 D penny with errors, because even the rarest errors lose significant value if the coin is heavily worn, damaged, cleaned improperly, or otherwise compromised. By contrast, specimens graded as mint state 65 or higher by reputable services such as PCGS or NGC command premium prices, as they not only demonstrate rarity of the error but also preservation of the coin's original luster and details, and in the case of the 1995 D penny, examples in such pristine condition are extremely rare, which helps push the valuation into the millions, as collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are both historically significant and visually flawless. Provenance further elevates the worth of these coins, because coins with clear, traceable histories, from discovery in original mint rolls to inclusion in famous collections or auctions, carry stories that add emotional and historical weight. Collectors are willing to pay more for coins with well-documented provenance because it reduces the risk of fraud, enhances the coin's authenticity, and connects the buyer to a lineage of ownership and scholarship, all of which heighten the perceived value and collectible importance of the 1995 D penny era coins. Market forces also significantly impact the valuation of the 1995 D penny, as interest in error coins has surged in recent years due to greater public awareness and accessibility through online platforms, social media, and auction houses specializing in rare coins. As more collectors and investors become educated about the fascinating stories and rarity behind such coins, demand rises rapidly, especially for pieces verified by professional grading services and accompanied by strong provenance. And when demand outpaces supply, as is invariably the case with ultra-rare mint-era coins, prices soar, sometimes to staggering levels like the $12 million attributed to certain specimens of the 1995 D penny with major errors. Additionally, the rarity of multi-era coins, where a single coin exhibits multiple significant mistakes, cannot be overlooked, because coins that combine double dies, off-metal strikes, die cracks, and mint mark anomalies all in one piece are incredibly rare and highly prized, representing a perfect storm of minting errors that few collectors ever get to see in person. And when such a coin from 1995 D surfaces, it becomes a legend, attracting intense bidding wars and skyrocketing valuations. As collectors vie to own an unparalleled example of minting history. Beyond the immediate numismatic factors, the 1995 D penny's value also reflects a broader cultural and economic trend, where tangible collectibles with documented rarity and historical significance are increasingly viewed as valuable alternative investments, offering not only enjoyment and prestige but also potential financial appreciation. This trend has brought new buyers into the market who are willing to pay top prices to acquire pieces like the 1995 D penny, thus pushing prices higher and solidifying the coin's status as a premier collectible. Certification by leading grading services is another crucial element that has helped establish the 1995 D penny era coin's multi-million-dollar valuations, because these organizations employ advanced technology and expert numismatists to rigorously examine, authenticate, and grade coins, providing buyers with confidence in their purchase and establishing market standards for condition and rarity. And once a coin is certified as a genuine error with a high grade, it gains enhanced market liquidity and appeal, often translating to substantial premiums during auctions or private sales. The story of the 1995 D penny also illustrates the intriguing human aspect of coin collecting, where the discovery of a rare error coin can transform ordinary lives, turning unknown collectors into millionaires overnight and inspiring passionate hunts for other rare coins. Last. 1989 1-cent coin. Today we are going to explore one of the most fascinating, incredible, and mind-blowing stories in the world of numismatics, the story of the 1989 1-cent coin, a penny that under certain rare and extraordinary conditions is valued at an astounding $10 million, and while it may sound unbelievable at first, this value is firmly rooted in a series of unique minting errors, production anomalies, historical context, and the passionate collector market that elevates what many see as a simple copper coin into a highly coveted treasure worth millions. So join me on this detailed journey as we uncover exactly what makes the 1989 1-cent so special, why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay eye-watering sums for it, and what kinds of errors and mistakes transform a common penny into an ultra-rare collectible. To begin with, 1989 was a pivotal year in U.S. coin production, a time when the mint was operating at high capacity to meet the growing demands of everyday commerce while also introducing subtle changes to dies, metal compositions, and striking procedures. And this combination of large-scale production alongside ongoing technical adjustments inevitably created the conditions for errors and mistakes to slip through, sometimes unnoticed, and become hidden gems waiting to be discovered by eagle-eyed collectors, and the 1989 penny is a perfect example of such a phenomenon, where a seemingly ordinary coin can carry remarkable defects that instantly boost its rarity and value. Among the most important and valuable errors seen on the 1989 1 cent is the double die obverse error, a striking mistake that occurs during the die creation process when the design elements on the die receive two impressions that are slightly misaligned, leading to the characteristic doubling of features on the coin's obverse, which is the front side featuring Lincoln's portrait along with inscriptions like the date, Liberty, and "In God We Trust," and in the 1989 penny, this doubling is particularly bold and visible even to the naked eye, making it a prized find for collectors, and such strong double dies are extremely rare because the mint typically catches these during production, but when one escapes, it becomes highly sought after, often commanding prices well beyond face value, reaching into millions when the coin is preserved in pristine condition. Another key contributor to the 1989 penny's extraordinary valuation is the off-metal strike error, which happens when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or composed of a different metal alloy, and in the case of the 1989 penny, some examples have been documented where the coin was struck on planchets intended for dimes or even foreign coins, resulting in a visually unusual and historically significant specimen that instantly stands out, and these off-metal strikes are incredibly rare due to stringent mint quality controls, but when authenticated by experts and graded at a high level, they become treasures worth millions because they represent an error that is not only a mistake but also a window into the minting process and its complexities. Die cracks and die breaks are another category of errors seen on some 1989 pennies, where fractures in the dies used to strike the coins leave raised lines or irregularities on the surface of the coin, sometimes creating distinctive spider web or branching patterns that collectors recognize as highly desirable because they make each coin unique. And when these die cracks intersect significant design elements like Lincoln's face or the date, they become even more collectible, adding both historical interest and value to the coin, especially when combined with other errors or preserved in mint state condition. In addition to these errors, there are misaligned dies or off-center strikes where the coin's design is shifted from its normal position due to incorrect alignment of the dies during striking, and while minor off-centers are fairly common, dramatic misalignments on a 1989 penny are rare and valuable, and when these misalignments exceed certain thresholds, they become collectible varieties that command premium prices, especially when the coin remains intact and well preserved. The mint mark is another important factor affecting the value of the 1989 penny, particularly the difference between coins minted at Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, as each mint had different production numbers and error rates, and collectors often specialize in collecting error varieties by mint location, which means a 1989 D, Denver penny with a strong double die or other errors could be exponentially rarer and more valuable than similar errors from other mints, and this scarcity is one of the driving forces behind the $10 million valuation for the most exceptional specimens. Condition plays an outsized role in determining the value of the 1989 penny errors, because while many error coins exist in circulated, worn, or damaged states, the ultra-valuable examples are those that are preserved in mint state condition, with full original luster, sharp details, no cleaning marks, and no post-mint damage, and coins graded as MS 65 or higher by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC fetch the highest prices, as they provide collectors and investors with confidence in the coin's quality and authenticity, which is essential when dealing with valuations in the multi-million-dollar range. Provenance also adds a powerful layer of value, because coins with documented histories, from discovery in original mint rolls or sealed bags to inclusion in famous collections or auctions, carry stories that make them even more desirable, and collectors pay premiums to own pieces with well-documented pedigrees as it adds certainty and historical context to the coin, enhancing its allure and collectible status. Market dynamics have also played a significant role in elevating the 1989 penny's value, as awareness of modern-era coins has exploded in recent years through social media, specialized forums, and popular auction platforms, bringing more collectors and investors into the space and increasing demand for rare and dramatic errors, while supply remains fixed or dwindling, which naturally drives prices upward, sometimes into the millions for top-tier specimens. The possibility of multi-error coins further fuels excitement and valuation, as coins that combine two or more major errors, such as a doubled die obverse paired with an off-metal strike or dramatic die cracks, are incredibly rare and command outsized attention and prices, and when such a coin surfaces with 1989 dating and excellent condition, it becomes a legend among collectors, igniting bidding wars and setting record prices that reflect the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical significance. Certification by top-tier grading services is essential in establishing market confidence and achieving the highest values, as these organizations employ expert numismatists and advanced technology to authenticate, grade, and attribute errors accurately, providing buyers with assurance and enabling transparent pricing in auctions and private sales. And for the 1989 penny, coins certified as genuine double dies or off-metal strikes in mint state grades often command premium prices approaching or surpassing the $10 million mark. The 1989 penny's story also highlights the human dimension of coin collecting, where the thrill of discovery, the joy of ownership, and the prestige of possessing a rare and valuable artifact come together to create emotional value that transcends the coin's intrinsic worth, motivating collectors and investors to pay extraordinary sums. And these stories of accidental fortunes and unexpected treasures keep the field vibrant and exciting. The economic context also plays a role, as tangible assets with documented rarity and historical significance increasingly attract investors looking to diversify portfolios, and rare error coins like the 1989 penny fit this niche perfectly, offering not just beauty and history but also potential appreciation and a hedge against market volatility, which further drives demand and price. Additionally, the 1989 penny encapsulates a key lesson about the value of attention to detail and curiosity, reminding us that even everyday objects can harbor secrets and extraordinary worth if we know how to look and what to seek, inspiring collectors around the world to continue searching rolls, collections, and forgotten caches for their own chance at discovery. All these factors combined, the dramatic double die obverse errors, rare off-metal strikes, prominent die cracks, misalignment anomalies, mint mark scarcity, condition and grading quality, provenance, market demand fueled by growing collector and investor interest, the thrill of multi-error coins, certification confidence, and broader economic trends work in harmony to elevate the 1989 1-cent coin into a numismatic superstar valued at $10 million, a value that astonishes and inspires. Showing that even the smallest coin minted in 1989 holds the power to change lives, rewrite collecting records, and become a legendary piece of American coinage history.